This is the AHSAA Weekly, your inside look at everything happening with the Alabama High School Athletic Association, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we'll talk with the head coach of the Fife Red Devils, Paul Benefield. His team has won 50 consecutive games. That is the longest current winning streak amongst high school football teams in the United States. We'll talk with him from Fife this week. We'll also preview the AHSAA Game of the Week this week here on WOTM. It's a game between CF Viger of Pritchard and Faith Academy of Mobile. We will speak with the head football coaches of both teams, Faith Academy's Jack French and also Viger's John McKenzie. And we'll have David Holdsford's highlights as we bring you highlights from a variety of sports from all across the state of Alabama. All of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
Back on the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. We are very pleased to be joined this week by one of the finest coaches in the state, of one of the finest programs in the state. Paul Benefield is the head coach of the Fife Red Devils. His football team beat rival Plainview last week 45-19, and in doing so won their 50th consecutive football game. Coach, that is just incredible. You have not lost a football game since 2017. Just kind of take us through these last 50 games. This is just remarkable, I think.
You see me shaking my head, don't you? I don't know what to say about it. You know, it takes a lot of. I've said this, I guess, several times the last few days, but it takes a lot of hard work and takes a lot of luck sometimes too. You know, I mean, I got good, hard-working players and coaches and good administration to stand behind me, but you know, it just is more things. It's just sometimes it's just lucky.
Coach, it came out this week that with 50 straight wins, not only are the holding the record right now for consecutive wins in the state of Alabama, you're still 4 wins away from the all-time record, but right now you have the current longest win streak in the state, but you also have the current longest win streak in the country right now. What's that say about Fife and the community of the football team? That's a milestone. If it ended tomorrow, that's a huge accomplishment. Well, just tell us about the team and the community and what that means to them to have this kind of a national record right now.
Well, I don't know. Just all this kind of came out Saturday when they started talking about a national longest streak in the nation. But, you know, I'm just trying to stay focused on the next game and trying to keep our kids the same way, because that's how you have win streaks, is stay focused on the next opponent and not be worried about something up ahead. And it's just you have to let the kids buy into what you're saying instead of what their parents are saying, what the community is saying, and, you know, quit talking about things that don't matter and just let's talk about the next game. But, you know, it's been hard the last couple of days, and maybe someday I can sit around and smile about it. I don't know, and enjoy it.
Coach, again, I know you don't want to talk about this, but it's out there. Obviously, people are looking ahead a little bit, as folks tend to do, fans, media folks like that. You've got a chance now, a realistic chance of maybe setting the all-time state longest winning streak record set by Clay County back in the mid-90s, 94-97. You are a veteran coach, so you observed that winning streak that Clay County had back in the mid-90s. Did you ever think that you would be coaching a team that had a chance to maybe set that record?
No, and I told News Today, a reporter, that, you know, to be mentioned in the same sentence with Clay County and Coach Horn is a pretty big deal to me. I know our kids don't know that, but I do. I know that, you know, I went to see them play a lot and admired the way they did things. And me and Coach Horn's good friends. And you know, still, even though it's 5 games away, that's a lot of games. And we don't have one of those teams just going to dominate or that's real talented this year. And we lost a lot of really good seniors. We got kids that's working hard, trying to do the best they can do. And they are so far, but we still making a lot of mistakes. And but just to be mentioned with the same breath as those Clay County teams or Hoover or whoever, that Hazelwood. I saw an article I guess today in the state website about that, and it's pretty awesome to me because I am an old man, and I'm really big fans of those people. And to me, when I was 21 years old, Hazelwood, was it.
Yes.
And that's just a pretty big deal.
Coach Benefield, 242 wins, only 26 losses. That's I think right at a 90% winning percentage in the last 20 years at 5. You mentioned losing players. That's the nature of high school football. You're going to lose outstanding players every year, but yet you continue to win. Everybody wants to know around the state, what's the secret sauce in Fife that makes this winning continue year after year after year?
I have had that question a few hundred times, but hard work and discipline goes a long way, and but there's a lot goes into hard work and discipline that everybody may say they're working hard, and all of us coaches think we do, but I'm pretty tough on those kids, and we do a lot of things right outside the field, and try to be the best people we can be to begin with, and we're not perfect, and kids are not perfect, but I don't put up with a lot of stuff, and I don't have a large number of players ever usually on my team, and some kids just don't want that tough discipline no more, and even though it's the best thing for them, they don't want it, but they get a lot of that at Fife, I feel like, and maybe too much sometimes. I'm sure some people think, but I just can't help it. I can't. I'm one of those that can't watch lackluster workouts or lackluster practices, or I just can't do it. And the people that are out there that's like that know what I'm talking about. That it's just if you're a competitor, you can't stand to. As I always say, losers hate winners and winners hate losers, and I don't want to. I don't even want a loser to be on my team if I'm playing rook. I want to win the game, but I feel like I keep my class about it when we do lose, but I don't know what the secret is, but hard work is behind all of it, and discipline. I can tell you that.
Coach Benefield, congratulations to you and your teams plural, through the years of all the great wins you've had up there, and the great job that your team this year is doing. We wish you and your program best wishes throughout the rest of this 2021 season. Thank you for joining us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Thank you very much.
Paul Benefield, head coach of the Fife Red Devils, 50 straight wins and counting. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
And we're back on the AHSAA Weekly. The AHSAA Game of the Week this week is going to feature Viger and Faith Academy here on WOTM. We are going to speak with the head football coaches of both teams, Faith Academy's Jack French and also Viger's John McKenzie. Coach, thank you for spending some time with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, let's talk about your football team first and foremost. This game with Viger will be a non-region game. You're in a 7-team region, so sometimes those non-region weeks fall at kind of odd times of the year. It will be a break from region play, but your football team, you've lost 2 games by a combined 4 points. You've got another really good football team at Faith Academy.
We do. We're playing a lot of guys that didn't get to play a whole lot last year, and some young sophomores, a couple freshmen. Got some guys that are having to play both ways. It's just something we got to get used to.
Tell us about some of the guys as folks are watching in North Alabama and West Alabama and Wiregrass. Folks are watching around the state may not be familiar with Faith Academy. Tell us about some of the outstanding players you have. I know everybody's heard about one of those guys. You have a pretty good defender on your team, but tell us about some of the guys that folks can be looking out for in this game with Viger coming up on October 7th.
Well, I know Shamar James would be the most familiar name, and He's a Florida commit, and he's really a good football player. He could play a good many things. I guess he could play on the line if we asked him to, but he can play a lot of positions. We first impressed with him as a wide receiver. Then we were impressed with him as a defensive end. We needed him a little bit more centrally located, so we played him the last few games last year and some this year, middle linebacker. And now what he'll probably play, at least they tell me this, he's an outside linebacker. I always thought he would make a great free safety if you could afford to put him back there. So he's just a jack of all trades, and he can run the ball, catch the ball, make tackles, and he put pressure on quarterbacks, and he also, he's impressive in coverage. And anyway, that's the guy I think that a lot of people know about. But we have some other players, Christian Burnett and E.J. King, in the backfield, and our quarterback, Colton Wood. And we have Ty Goodwill and Tyrene Dotson, some young receivers. Now that we're kind of getting used to having Dorian Smith as a receiver, but another good athlete. We got some guys who've been waiting and are coming around this year. We got Ryan at linebacker, and Colin Guidry as a defensive end. I'll probably leaving some of them out, but we got some good big guys. Don't have enough big guys, but like Ernest James and DeMario, and that's DeMario Moore, and one more big one,
Coach.
Joseph Reynolds. So we got some returnees that are helping us. We don't have as many as we'd like to have, but when we kind of get it going, we got a pretty good little team.
Coach, let's talk about your thoughts. I know we're a ways away from that, and you've got another game as we speak before then, a big one. But your early impressions of Viger, what do you think about this Viger team?
Well, you could tell they were coming on, at the end of the year last year. Coach McKenzie, I think this is his second year, and he does a really good job. They've always had athletes, and they usually have some good linemen to go with them. And, it was, it was a battle even last year. So, but, I know they're much improved. They're a real good football team right now, and getting better. So, we're not really catching them at a good time, I don't think, right after we play UMS. And they're gonna be after us.
Coach, you've been as good as anybody in Class 5A football the last couple of years, and we see that not changing. Obviously, you're right in the thick of things in 5A football, not only in Mobile, but around the state. We appreciate you spending time with us here on the AHSAA Weekly, and we will see you coming up on Thursday night, October 7th, as your Rams take on Viger.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Coach, glad to have you with us here and previewing this game that's coming up on WOTM. Fantastic game between you and Faith Academy.
Well, I thank you guys for having me. It's always a great opportunity to give our kids some exposure and to build our program. We're doing a lot of exciting things right now, so we want to just continue to ride that wave.
Well, Coach, you are the head man of one of the most storied programs in high school football history in this state. I think anybody that's even a casual high school football fan, when you say the word Viger, they know what that means. And this year, heading into the game with Escambia County before you get to Faith Academy, you're sitting at 5-0 and undefeated in Class 4A Region 1.
Yeah, so we kind of got a pretty good team put together this year. We got all the right pieces in the right places, led by our quarterback, Anthony Mix. We got 3 senior offensive linemen that have been pretty much 3-year starters. So we got a great group of experience, a good mixture of seniors. We sprinkle in some 9th graders, and we just got a good group that's been working hard, tremendously hard, and we know we got something special this year, and we just want to continue to take advantage every time we hit the field.
You mentioned Anthony Mix, one of the great talents on the Gulf Coast. Who are some other guys that folks around the state can be looking out for on October 7th?
Well, we got Jermaine Coleman, which is our tailback. We got a 3-horse running back system where we got Jermaine Coleman, Ben Bennett, and Ja'Cory Barnes. All of them is pretty special talents. We got a good group of receiving core led by Brennan May, Caleb Coleman, Jaron Graham, 2 good tight ends, and Michael Brown and Abraham Daniels. And like I said, we got a bevy of offensive linemen that's doing pretty good. On the defensive side of the ball, we led again by Abraham, Chris Agee, and Brennan May. They kind of lead our defense. We got 2 stout defensive linemen, Ryan Kidd and Michael Towner, that we just got some exceptional talent. And like I said, our guys have really bought into what we're trying to accomplish and been working hard throughout the season.
This is your 2nd year as head coach. Last year, you go to the playoffs in 4A. You make the long trip up to Roanoke and take on Hanley. You gave the Tigers, who went on to win the 4A state championship, all they wanted. How big was that game, despite the loss, in the confidence in the offseason for your team, knowing that you stood in there toe-to-toe with the state champions?
It was big because, we was just, we with the off season of COVID, getting in here late July, not being able to get a lot of stuff in. Then, Mix came in like mid-season. But by the time we got to the playoff at the end of the year, you could see that our talent was developing and that we was going to be, pretty good. We thought we could go in there and beat Hanley. We really wasn't sure. Their running back had an exceptional game against us, and he really was a difference maker. But, going into the offseason, we planned some camps. We felt good about traveling to LSU. We traveled to Auburn. We went to Florida State and West Alabama. We had those camps, and we kind of team bonded and understood that we got a group of guys that could play on this level. And if we get a chance to meet up Hanley again with the success that we had last year, gave us a lot of confidence into going into this season. And we set high goals. We just didn't go into the season and the old coaches talk that we just going to give it a good shot. We set goals to play December 3rd. Our main goal going into the season was to make sure we win our rival game against Blunt and to play on December 3rd. So we still got those 2 goals intact. And the guys have been working towards that since December. So we had a good off season, a good spring, and it's carrying it over to this season. And we're looking forward to playing 10 more ball games.
Coach, you're undefeated. You're stepping out of region play, stepping up in classification, taking on 5A Faith Academy. Tell us your thoughts on this Faith Academy team that will be coming into Pritchard Stadium on the 7th.
Well, I've been knowing Jack French for over 30 years, so I know the discipline, the character, the coaching that he's going to provide for that team. When we went against them last year, they took us to school. The old coach taught the new coach a lesson, and they had a good performance against us last year. And we just going to try to go in there and like I said, keep focused on what we're trying to accomplish. Even though we got Escambia County next, when we get to Faith, they'll be the next team on our schedule. And we just want to play extremely hard against a very good football team and see how we're going to turn out.
Coach, thank you so much for spending time with us. We are looking forward here on the AHSAA Network on WOTM to seeing this phenomenal game. Should be one of the best games of the year in the state between Faith Academy and your team, Viger. Thank you for spending time with us. Best wishes to you and your team, not only against Faith Academy, but the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot, John. Thank you guys for having me.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
Back on the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union, David Holtzford's Highlights Time. David Holtz for the AHSAA, providing us with highlights from various sports across the state of Alabama. We are going to begin in volleyball. They call this the Dubberly Bowl in Montgomery. Trinity Presbyterian and Montgomery Catholic, because Trinity's head coach is Sarah Dubberly. Catholic's head coach is her husband, Sellers Dubberly. Pick up the action of the Wildcats, led by Reese Patterson, Emma Moody, Emma Kate Smith, and Addison Cherry, taking control at the net, and they go on to defeat the Knights 3-1 as both teams tune up for area tourney play, which gets underway next week all across the state of Alabama. Great volleyball action from there in the city of Montgomery. We're going to stay with a girls' sport next, but this is going to be girls' flag football in Jefferson County. This is Oxford and Homewood, and also Hewitt-Trussville. Oxford running back Ashlyn Burns speeds around the end on the reverse and races into the end zone for a quick Oxford touchdown. She would also get it done on the defensive end, intercepting the Patriots' pass and sprinting into the end zone to give the Lady Jackets a 13-0 lead in the game. But Homewood's going to come back. Great exciting action here as they would add a touchdown on a long pass. This is Chandler Binkley to Piper Harris for the touchdown, but Oxford holds on to win 19-6. Also at Homewood, Oxford and Hewitt-Trussville. Lady Huskies quarterback DeAndrea Powell, playing in the school's first flag football game, makes history with this pass to Ruby Simon. Not only gives the Huskies a 6-0 lead, but will go down in history as the school's first TD and first TD pass in girls flag history. And then she fires another long pass late in the game as Hewitt wins its first girls flag football game 14-7 over Oxford. Our next stop, Coleman, the Bearcats in Decatur in a tough football battle in Class 6A Region 8. Jamar Key sparked the Bearcats with a 64-yard touchdown run, and he would also end the game with 2 interceptions on defense. Look at this move right here at the goal line, then weaving his way through traffic to get into the end zone for the Coleman touchdown. Next, we see quarterback Riley Skinner breaking free here for a 37-yard touchdown, and this will close the Coleman High School NFHSA network production with Nate Zills booting a 30-yard field goal. This was the difference in the game to give Coleman a 17-14 victory over Decatur. We move next to Prattville. The Lions and Enterprise in Class 7A Region 2 action. The Wildcats open the scoring on a 34-yard touchdown run from Michael Johnson in the first quarter. 6 plays later, Prattville speedster Omarion Parks scoots 15 yards for the TD to tie the game at 7-7. Lions quarterback E.J. Owsley connects with receiver Calvin Parker for another Prattville TD to take a 14-7 lead. There it is right there. Again, weaving his way through traffic and then getting a push from some of his own guys into the end zone. And then we pick up play with Lions place kicker Colin Rogers lining up to attempt a 50-yard field goal. He makes it. Prattville wins it 17-16. Now we go to 7A Region 2. This one at Auburn. Central Phoenix City and Auburn, both coming in at 6-0. Visiting Red Devils take charge early with quarterback Caleb Nix faking the draw play and tossing the ball to receiver Carmelo English, who races into the end zone. Central would go on to win 21-7 and take over the top spot in Region 2 with a 4-0 region record. Great game there between Central Phoenix City and Auburn. Next, we make a quick stop at Hoover, where the Bucs veteran announcer Jeff Lloyd gives this account of a big defensive highlight. Terrell Jones gets into the Hewitt-Trussville backfield, delivers the blow just as the Huskies quarterback tries to corral a high snap. Ball gets loose and Jones scoops up the fumble and carries it into the end zone for a Hoover score. The Bucs remain unbeaten with a 34-10 win in Class 7A Region 3. 2 quick stops in Northeast Alabama. First at Gunnersville Chorba-Lee Stadium. Quarterback Cole McCarty is on fire from the start. He was a perfect 15 of 15 passing, 334 yards and 3 TDs. He connects with his favorite target, Cooper Davidson, for this touchdown. McCarty would add 78 yards on the ground as Gunnersville cruises to a 63-6 win in Class 5A Region 7 play against the Sardis Lions. Well, not far down the road, we find AHSAA hosting Piedmont with an upset in the making. Indians quarterback Eli Ennis ran wild, picking up more than 200 yards rushing and these nifty touchdown runs. Teammate Devin Howell also got into the action with a strong second half, and AHSAA holds on for a 28-24 win. beating the number 2 ranked team in the state in Class 3A in this key Class 3A Region 5 game. The Eli Ennis Show, over 200 yards rushing. You'll see a lot of these long touchdown runs. Here comes one around the end there, taking it down the AHSAA sideline on the creek bank at Roy Owens Field in AHSAA. And then you'll also see, this was really the game clincher right here. Ennis to the outside, maybe touched once, and then he outruns the entire Piedmont secondary and linebackers down the Piedmont sideline. 84 yards for the touchdown for the AHSAA Indians in that 28-24 win over Piedmont. Another seesaw clash taking place at Madison City Stadium between Florence and host James Clemens in Class 7A Region 4. Both teams combined for 933 yards of total offense. The Jets rushed for 259 yards, and quarterback Gio Lopez threw for 209. Florence rushed for 279 yards, and Falcons quarterback Caleb Mahan threw for 186. This one would come down to the wire, with Lopez finding the end zone for James Clemens to tie the game up at 42-42 late in the game. A total of almost 90 points scored, and Aaron Rowe booted a 32-yard field goal to lift the host to the victory, 45-42. Now we've got one of the strangest plays of the year, so strange it was picked up on the NFL Monday Night Football contest. For this one, we're going to hand it off to our good friend Jerry Young with the Thompson Warrior Network.
To the left, Connor Harrell, play action, throw it out there in the flat. Pepins has got it. He's to the 30, 25, 20, outside he goes. Touchdown! Towns takes his time, takes the snap, back to pass. Rushed, it hits him. Rushed, it hits the umpires, intercepted. Intercepted on the left side. We're loose to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Peter Woods takes it in. No flags.
What a play. And finally, our AHSAA game of the week last week was Oak Mountain and Spain Park. Here's Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathankani with a replay.
It was a solid start there for Oak Mountain. Lots of trick plays from Spain Park. They were not fooled, and then they gave their star football player the ball. There's the first of 5 touchdowns on the 10-yard touchdown run there. Meanwhile, Spain Park got some things going offensively on the double handoff, which was really successful throughout the course of the night. However, they weren't able to score a lot of that due to plays and drives being ended with turnovers. Corbett Grundhofer with a fantastic game today. And then there's Evan Smith once again after the 10-yard touchdown run. How about 59 on the explosive play? Just like that, a 14-0 lead early on. Spain Park defense played against the run really well, especially in the second and third quarters. But when they needed big plays, defensively they were able to get some. There you see Spain Park coming through with a big interception there. Probably the only mistake from Evan Smith throughout the course of the game. But the picks continued to keep coming. Big number 3, Grundhofer for Oak Mountain, was the main player for the Eagles to get it done. But then right before half, Smith to C.J. Brunson, that 4-yard touchdown play. They had a 21-0 at halftime, 82-yard drive to cap it off, and I think that was huge. However, Coach Rainey said he wanted to see some playmakers step it up in the second half, and they got it. Ferris there on the big run led to the touchdown there by John Michael Lee, but then it was all about number 9, Evan Smith. This might have been the play of the game. Looked to be sealed up in the backfield, ends up taking it in 18 yards for the touchdown run there. And then after another interception by Grundhofer, the hat trick for him, number 3 of the day, led to another big touchdown there for Smith that he capped it off with a 39-yard run here. And that was all the scoring. And Smith, the Northwestern commit, plays huge today for Oak Mountain. They're now 5-1 overall and 3-1 in the region.
And thanks to Gerhard and Mickey for those highlights, and the NFHS folks from around the state of Alabama, and David Holtzford from the AHSAA for all of the highlights once again this week. And that will wrap it up for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.